In LA this week, getting where you need to be using LA's public transit system will get much easier with the construction of 3 underground metro transfer stations. We'll tell you where coming up.
I'm Anna Margot's better and quicker life-giving care as West Hills Hospital gets a new chopper landing. That's coming up.
According to the American Cancer Society, 1 out of 8 women will be diagnosed with breast cancer in their lifetime. I'm Rasha Goel. Up next, how the city is supporting breast cancer awareness.
And welcome to LA This Week. Thanks for joining us. I'm Ellen Chang. Some exciting news for public transit users. Metro will be building 3 underground transfer stations downtown that will allow riders to conveniently connect to other trains. Michael McManus reports.
The Regional Connector groundbreaking ceremony at the Little Tokyo Gold Line station began with enthusiastic playing of drums by the Taiko Project. Then, Master of Ceremonies actor George Takei took to the podium.
Right behind us is an historic district with a long history and a rich cultural tradition called Little Tokyo. And this morning, we boldly go where no transit agency has gone before. We go underground under Little Tokyo.
The project will build 3 new underground stations downtown that will enable riders to connect to other trains and expo lines. Mayor Eric Garcetti says the Regional Connector may even earn a reputation for being more convenient than riding in a car.
We'll create jobs, and you can sit in one seat from Long Beach to Pasadena, from soon in Santa Monica to the east side. A trip that takes 20 minutes and 2 transfers today will be cut to 10 minutes and no transfers tomorrow.
The mayor followed his remarks with the traditional ceremonial groundbreaking. Councilmember Paul Kekorian, chairman of the City Council's Transportation Committee, pushed hard for the Regional Connector project.
This is sort of the missing link that connects many elements of our transit system. We already operate one of the largest rail systems in America. People don't realize that sometimes. But this Regional Connector project will allow people to take a single-seat ride from the west side of LA to the east side and points beyond.
The bulk of the project will be on Councilmember Jose Huizar's district.
10 years ago, 10,000 people lived here. Today, 50,000 and growing. People want that urban lifestyle. So this project has so many benefits.
When the new system is complete, sometime in the year 2020, it's estimated it will bring another 17,000 new riders to the system. From downtown Los Angeles at the Little Tokyo Metro Station, Michael McManus for LA This Week.
Funding for the project came from federal, state, and local sources. Local funding came from Measure R, which authorized a 0.5-cent sales tax increase in LA County. Turning to LA's downtown Skyline, it doesn't always stand out, not as much as it could, and city leaders say that's all changing thanks to a change in a building code. Rasha Goel has all the details.
For decades, the LA skyline has been shaped by regulations. Since 1958, buildings more than 75 feet tall were required to have an emergency helipad at the top of their building. Officials say downtown LA skyline includes some historic buildings with distinguished rooftops, but for the most part, the long-standing code meant most are boxy and flat.
We are looking to create a more innovative skyline and to not look at our buildings as something simply for its function, but something that will collectively bring a new image and a new style for the city of Los Angeles.
Recently, Mayor Eric Garcetti joined city leaders in announcing a code change.
Under the new rules, there are 2 options for builders. You can either build a new, smaller helipad, or with the use of different designs and technologies, you can eliminate the helipad altogether. The outcome is buildings being built with both the latest safety technologies, but also the best possible designs.
And of course, with safety as a top priority.
Some of the key enhancements include a dedicated fire service elevator for firefighters, quick response sprinkler heads, video camera surveillance systems in the elevator as well as the fire control room.
Now, without the mandatory helipads, the LA skyline may just rise to new heights. I'm Rasha Goel for LA This Week.
Councilman Jose Huizar had previously pushed for the rule modification, which had allowed the new Wilshire Grand Hotel to be built with a modified helicopter landing area instead of a flat roof. The hotel is still under construction. While not all buildings need a helipad, one building that does need one now has it. Anna Marcos takes us to West Hills Hospital, where a new helicopter landing pad will help raise the odds of survival for Valley patients in critical burn cases and medical emergencies.
This LA Fire Department chopper is the first to ever land at West Hills Hospital's new helipad. City leaders were on board the trial flight. The $3 million landing pad, originally built for the hospital's Grossman Burn Center, will also benefit other critical care patients here.
That's really just the entryway to other forms of critical care treatment that require rapid access. And whether that's forms of trauma or stroke, it gives us the ability to bring patients here.
A short while later, a second helicopter, this one from Mercy Air, also makes a trial landing. The use of helicopters here will completely change the way medical workers care for patients they are transporting, with more technically advanced procedures than ambulances can provide.
We have a nurse on board, so we can give a lot more medications. We can continue medications that the hospital has started in flight. We operate under an expanded scope of practice, so we do a lot of invasive procedures that they do in the ER. We do right back here.
This will bridge the gap between first responders and emergency room physicians, and will, no doubt, save countless lives.
This is about saving lives, about improving response times.
After these first two inaugural flights, the helipad is now open for business, and these helicopters can transport patients more than 5 times faster than they would be transported by ground ambulance.
In our minds, that hour is minutes, and we really need to act so quickly because life is precious.
That first golden hour of care, so critical to a patient's survival, just became a lot more accessible for a lot more patients. I'm Anna Marcos for LA This Week.
The money for the helipad was raised by West Hills Hospital's Board of Directors. Water is our most precious resource, and during the current drought, officials are pushing hard to make sure that the water we do have is safe and usable. Yana Kay reports.
These tanks at the San Fernando Aquifer are part of a water treatment system that help remove harmful chemicals from the water we use every day. But because of contamination of harmful toxins, dozens of wells in Los Angeles had to be shut down, leaving only 30 out of 115 that can be used.
Everyone recognizes the desperate need to upgrade our water systems.
That's why local officials, environmental groups, and community advocates gathered recently to show their support for Prop 1, the state water bond measure, which the mayor also supports.
Los Angeles relies on its groundwater resources for 11% of its drinking water supply. The more we can pump locally, the less water we need to import from hundreds of miles away.
If passed, the measure would provide funding for a statewide comprehensive water plan. Officials say the San Fernando Aquifer could be a total loss in less than a decade if nothing is done to clean it up.
When businesses are forced to drastically cut water use and don't have access to safe and reliable water, it ripples through the economy and increases costs for everyone.
Officials say the water bond will also protect the state's ecosystems and ensure that the state's drinking water is safe and reliable. I'm Yana Kay for LA This Week.
The water bond provides $800 million for groundwater cleanup and $100 million for groundwater monitoring. Some brave kids with cancer recently received the red carpet treatment and the respect of LA's men and women in blue. Yana Kay reports on the Sunshine Kids' special visit to our city.
These kids receive a warm welcome as they walk the red carpet during the 9th annual Sunshine Kids Day in their honor. A total of 28 kids were sworn in as honorary Los Angeles police officers.
I really enjoy it because when I was little, I always said I wanted to be a policeman when I grew up.
The kids, all from different states across the country, are part of a nonprofit organization called Sunshine Kids, which provides support and services for children with cancer. The celebration is one way the organization provides them with fun and positive group activities.
This experience will go all over this country of what a great city this is and how it opens its arms and it welcomes people and kids who who could use a smile.
The ceremony was attended by 75 active and reserve police officers, and each kid was called to the podium one by one and given their honorary badge. After the morning festivities, the royal treatment continued as the kids were whisked away in a convoy of cop cars with sirens and lights as they headed to Raleigh Studios to have lunch with the crew of the television show Major Crimes. You couldn't miss the loud sirens and impressive show of unity as dozens of black and whites drove the kids to the studio. After arriving, they once again enjoyed a hero's welcome and ate hot dogs and French fries on the set of the hit show. Los Angeles Police Chief Charlie Beck also came out to say hello and to take pictures with the kids.
I think all of us have got to be in awe of these young people that have such a tough task in life.
A tough task for some tough kids who fight on with one smile at a time. I'm Yana Kay for LA This Week.
The Sunshine Kids go on about 9 trips to different cities every year. October is also Breast Cancer Awareness Month, and according to the National Breast Cancer Foundation, breast cancer is the 2nd leading cause of death among women. Rasha Goel has more on what is happening locally to help spread awareness of the disease.
Breast cancer survivor Cynthia Lozano Vantal is all too familiar with the physical and emotional battles that come with the disease. She was diagnosed 13 years ago and chose to undergo a mastectomy.
Unfortunately, through my cancer journey, it's not that easy. Early cancer, even though you have early cancer, it doesn't really matter. I mean, you still have to go through the whole journey.
She's not alone. The city's own council member, Herb Wesson, lost his mother to cancer after she battled the disease 5 times.
And I submit to you that everyone who has ever lived has had this disease touch their lives one way or another.
October is National Breast Cancer Awareness Month. Many events will be held throughout the nation, including here in Los Angeles. To help show their support, the United Firefighters of LA City recently contributed $10,000 to the American Cancer Society. The hope of the United Firefighters of Los Angeles City is that awareness of the disease will help save lives.
The International Association of Firefighters and their affiliates engage in these local fundraising and awareness campaigns nationwide so that no breast cancer patient will go without life-saving treatments and so that there is hope for a cure.
According to statistics, 1 out of 8 women will be diagnosed with breast cancer in their lifetime. Cynthia Vantal is currently heading up a fundraising walk at LA Live in October with the American Cancer Society.
We're hoping and praying that we have 10,000 people there walking the streets of LA, and I'm so proud to be able to have this opportunity.
Walking the walk and talking the talk in hopes of spreading the message of breast cancer awareness and treatment. In downtown Los Angeles, I'm Rasha Goel for LA This Week.
The walk, Making Strides Against Breast Cancer of Los Angeles, will be held on October 18th in the Nokia Plaza at LA Live. More information can be found at makingstrideswalk.org. If you're a parent, then you probably know how difficult it can be to install a child car seat, but it doesn't have to be. Yana Kay reports.
Zachary Renew didn't even bother trying to install his 21-month-old daughter's new car seat. Instead, he left it up to the experts.
I'm one of the people that can't do it right, so I'd much better prefer the professionals handle it.
And just like Zachary, many parents find that installing a child's safety seat can be quite a challenge. And even when you are able to finally install it, it may not be done correctly. That's why the Los Angeles Police Department and the Housing and Community Investment Department have partnered to show parents the right way to install a car seat.
They're really nice, they're really knowledgeable, really friendly, and will help you until it's done correctly.
It's the law for children under 8 years old and who weigh less than 80 pounds be secured in a proper child seat. But officials say more than 70% of car seats are not properly installed.
You can buy the most expensive car seat, but if it's not installed properly, it doesn't do any good.
Officials say parents should not only make sure the car seat is installed the right way, but that the seat is appropriate for their child. Shopping for a car seat can be overwhelming for many parents, but you do want to make sure you get the right one. So to do that, read the label. Each car seat has a label with information on it. For example, this is a forward-facing car seat, and it tells you that this particular seat holds between 20 and 50 pounds, and the height of the child should be 127 centimeters tall or less. Another important thing to note is that car seats have expiration dates, which are clearly marked on the label.
The reason for it is because the weather, hot, cold, etc., affects the seat. It weakens it. Or if the car seat is involved in a traffic collision, it must be replaced.
Officials also recommend keeping your child in a rear-facing seat at least until the age of 2 or longer. I'm Yana Kay for LA This Week.
If you'd like to make an appointment to install your car seat, you can call 818-644-8143. The Los Angeles Police Department and the Drug Enforcement Agency recently teamed up with local medical centers to take back potentially dangerous, unused, or expired drugs. The drug take-back event was held at several Kaiser Permanente medical centers like this one in Panorama City. The LAPD was a co-sponsor of the event where residents could drop off their potentially dangerous prescription drugs, no questions asked.
And most people do have prescription drugs left over after a sickness, and they need a way to get rid of them. You don't want to drop them into the water supply.
Without events like this one, people sometimes flush their unused drugs down the toilet or throw them in the trash. That poses potential safety and health risks.
We had one woman talk about having 20 years of medications in her shelves. I mean, finding that these people are getting the message that these are not safe medications, not safe products to have accessible. Sometimes they're accessible to children, sometimes they're accessible to grandchildren.
In the future, more drop-off centers, maybe even pharmacies, may be set up to handle return of expired drugs. The last time these nationwide events were held at 4,100 drop-off sites, 390 tons of drugs were safely disposed of. An emotional day for the heroes of the Los Angeles Police Department as the Purple Heart and Medal of Valor awards were handed out. Yana Kay reports.
In 1973, retired LAPD officer Richard Birdsley was shot 3 times during what was supposed to have been a routine traffic stop. At the time, he had only one thought.
You think survival. You do whatever you can to survive.
Birdsley eventually recovered from his injuries and returned to work. For his bravery, LAPD Chief Charlie Beck honored him with a Purple Heart more than 4 decades later.
It feels good to actually know that they're thinking about us and, what had occurred back in years past.
Beardsley's story is just one of the incredible stories told during the Medal of Valor and Purple Heart Award ceremony held in Hollywood.
Well, I hope it demonstrates not only to them, but to the rest of the city that we really truly care about our personnel. We really care about the sacrifices that our officers make.
26 police officers were recognized for going above and beyond their call of duty and showing extraordinary courage to serve and protect Los Angeles citizens. Another police officer received the Medal of Valor for his bravery after pulling a driver out of a burning car on the 405 freeway.
As soon as he hit that divider, it burst into flames. I mean, the fire was incredible. 15, 20-foot flames. On seeing that, I jumped out of my vehicle, ran to the vehicle, and I was fortunate enough to get the driver who was unconscious out of the car.
Councilmember Mitch Englander said he couldn't be more proud of these brave men and women.
These aren't just heroes, and all of our police and firefighters are heroes. These are superheroes. These are the men and women who really did truly risk it all. They ran towards danger. They ran towards bullets. They ran into fires.
14 officers received the Medal of Valor and 12 received Purple Hearts at this year's ceremony. I'm Yana Kay for LA This Week.
The Los Angeles Police Foundation hosted the awards ceremony. Got an old couch or bed you want to throw to the curb? You might want to think again before dumping it outside. City leaders are now teaming up with one recycling company, calling on Angelinos to clean up their streets. Anna Marcos has more.
Advocates say the practice of illegal dumping is trashing the streets in the City of Angels, and it's reached epidemic proportions in South LA. Now, one private recycling company is doing something about it. The owner of Active Recycling at 2000 West Slauson has teamed up with Councilmember Bernard Parks and other city leaders to bring illegal dumping awareness to the public. Residents can drop off unwanted bulky items here all through the month of October for free.
Any individual citywide can bring in a truckload, a carload, a trailer load of trash and dump it for free. In many instances, over $100 cost.
I'm tired of driving down the streets and seeing all this illegal dumped items
I'll see a refrigerator, I'll see a couch, I'll see chairs, I'll see anything and everything in alleyways, on the street, on the parkway.
The message here is clear. Clean up your streets, LA.
Probably the number one issue that we hear from the community when it comes to quality of life issues.
You drive past all the eyesores on the street and everybody says, why doesn't the city do this, and why don't they pick up this, and why don't they clean it up? It's not a job, it's a job for us. And this is the one time that the people will get to do what they should.
And as a reminder, the City of LA Sanitation also has its own bulky item pickup program, and that one is free all year. All you have to do is dial 311 to get your items picked up and keep LA dump free. I'm Anna Marcos for LA This Week.
For more information about the active recycling program, call 323-295-7774. Seasons change. LA plays host to an international equestrian masters and finding ways to make Los Angeles and other big cities more livable and sustainable. These stories in CityBeat. It may not feel like autumn, but the proof is in the stars. The Griffith Observatory, as it does every year, marked the start of fall in the northern hemisphere by observing 2 autumnal equinox presentations. The autumnal equinox is the moment when the sun crosses the celestial equator as it moves south for winter. The equinox is also when day and night are of equal length.
First of all, we are in the Gottlieb Transit Corridor, so we're going to see a transit. A transit is when an object moves from the eastern half of the sky into the western half. It crosses your meridian.
For the next 6 months, the sun is south of the equator and shines down more directly on the Earth's southern hemisphere. Autumn ends with the winter solstice on December 21st. The inaugural Longines, that's the watch brand, Los Angeles Masters Equestrian event, was held at the Los Angeles Convention Center, during which more than 30 international riders competed for $1 million over the 4-day event. Riders who took part in the elite show jumping competition included Jessica Springsteen, the daughter of Bruce Springsteen, as well as the daughter of former New York Mayor Michael Bloomberg and the daughter of Bill Gates. Many competitors at the event have Olympic aspirations. The CityLab conference recently came to the JW Marriott at LA Live and was attended by 30 mayors, including our own, urban experts, city planners, writers, technologists, economists, and designers. The event was hosted by The Atlantic, Bloomberg Philanthropies, and the Aspen Institute. Issues discussed ranged from stemming runaway productions to immigration to income inequality. The aim of CityLab is to start or continue conversations about ideas and solutions that are transforming metro centers around the world into more livable and sustainable cities. This was the second year of the summit. The inaugural gathering took place last year in New York City. The annual San Pedro Lobster Festival was once again the talk of the town. It's become a Los Angeles tradition since 1999. Michael McManus has more.
The festival featured activities for children and adults. And here's something you don't hear about every day. Children under 12 got in for free. The event is actually in the Guinness Book of World Records for consuming the most lobster in one day.
For me, it was the food, the lobster, because I've heard about the Lobster Fest for the last several years. Keep saying every year I'm going to go, and this year decided to come out.
The flavor is really scrumptious and very tasteful. It's like my mouth is in heaven right now. You got the juices and you got all the flavors just savoring in your mouth, and it just tastes really good.
The event was also sponsored by the San Pedro Fish Market and several private entities. 16 different musical acts provided the free entertainment. Michael McManus for LA This Week.
In this week's list of things to do, the Music Center Open House, A Taste of Italy, and Donna Summer exhibit. The Music Center is celebrating its 50th anniversary with a gift to the community. It's holding a free open house on Saturday, October 11th from 9 a.m. to noon. Guided tours of Walt Disney Concert Hall, Dorothy Chandler Pavilion, Amundsen Theater, and Mark Taper Forum are available. Tours depart every 15 minutes. Go to musiccenter.org to reserve your space. The Music Center is located at 135 North Grand Avenue, downtown. Also on Saturday, October 11th, is the Taste of Italy at the Pico House. The Taste of Italy is LA's premier food and wine event to benefit the Italian-American Museum that takes place at the El Pueblo Historical Monument, home to Olvera Street. You'll be able to enjoy delicious, authentic Italian cuisine, live music, and mingle with celebrity guest chefs. Pico House is located at 424 North Main Street downtown. For ticket prices and other details, call 213-485-8432. And any Donna Summer fans in the house? This past summer, the Grammy Museum unveiled its latest temporary exhibit, Donna Summer: 4 Seasons of Love. This will be the first exhibition highlighting the career of the legendary Queen of Disco, with gowns and costumes designed by the singer herself, handwritten lyrics and notes, never-before-seen photographs, and much more. The Grammy Museum is located at 800 West Olympic Boulevard downtown. The exhibit will be on display through spring 2015. For museum hours, ticket prices, and other info, go to grammymuseum.org. And that's a look at some upcoming things to do. And in This Week in Tweets, we bring you some highlights from city leaders who took to social media in recent days. Councilmember Mitchell Englander posted this photo on Instagram showing him holding up a pink LAFD Goes Pink shirt. He wrote, "Proud to join United Firefighters of Los Angeles City to support Breast Cancer Awareness Month. LAFD Goes Pink." Councilmember Felipe Fuentes took to Twitter several times to celebrate the opening of the second phase of the bike path on San Fernando Road in Pacoima. He retweeted this photo of himself riding on the newly opened path, with several others following behind. And Councilman Joe Buscaino posted this YouTube video on Twitter to proclaim Wilmington Book Fair was awesome.
Baby llama stomps and pouts, baby llama jumps and shouts.
Eric Garcetti read Llama Llama Red Pajama, and 10,000 books given away. A decades-old parade brings pomp and circumstance to Olympic Boulevard once again, with the goal of showcasing the city's best assets, its residents who hail from every corner of the world. The 41st Los Angeles Korean Parade marched down Olympic Boulevard in Koreatown on a recent Saturday. But it wasn't just about Korean culture. In fact, the name of the game was diversity. Young martial artists demonstrated their skills, while a New Orleans-style band entertained parade goers.
I love the people. I love the festival.
The Korean Festival is one of the most important events in the city of Los Angeles in terms of culture, art, raise the awareness of the importance of Koreatown.
The parade also featured dancers who brought a bit of Latin flavor to the celebration, as well as a procession of vintage police cruisers with Councilmember Tom LaBonge riding alongside.
41st Annual Parade down Olympic Boulevard, Koreatown. It's very exciting. All the historic police cars, fire department, marching band. It's a great time. I say, kamsahamnida chingu. That's thank you, friend.
And a spirit of friendship is what this annual parade hopes to exude by inviting neighbors to learn more about Koreatown while opening its arms to embrace the cultures that make Los Angeles, Los Angeles. That's going to do it for this edition. Thanks for joining us. I'm Ellen Chang. A reminder that you could catch us online at LACityView.org. You can also follow and like us on Facebook. We'll see you back here next week for more of LA This Week.